Yeah, so I was looking through the old canvases. It's so fun to look through these old canvases, which are now like years old. Um, and I started back on, I think day 22 was my first day. I'll just posit a couple of these because these are so, to me, these feel like iconic canvases now. This this whale canvas is one of my favorites, and that central whale is like I just think it's an incredible piece of pixel art. Um, and the Dune, also an iconic canvas. This to me is like an amazing example of um, doing a lot with a little, especially those small early canvases. Like to
Yeah.
get that kind of detail on that small of a canvas
Should
is
we, should
incredible.
we click on it so we can see?
Yeah, let's pull that up. And especially, those early days too, people were really like the canvases ended up being quite chaotic too, and people were always, plopping things down or, just screwing around with it. So to get something sort of coordinated on those early canvases is really amazing also.
Yeah, I was hearing someone, not sure if you or Lotus, saying that the Dune was one of the first successful coordination
Yeah.
results, like even though it was early days, right?
Yeah. You can see too, so interestingly, like not a ton of those first few commits are just kind of
I
plopping on there.
think there are two
You know,
dicks at the top there,
yeah, of course, always those early
right?
canvases.
uh,
And most people did. Oh, there we go, starting to cover it up. People didn't have, they had smaller brushes, or there were more people with smaller
yes,
brushes. But uh, yeah, that's a
more
iconic one.
people contributing.
And then
So we got the whale, we got the Dune. What else?
June. It was also, I mean, the early days too were before we had some of the codified rules too. So IP infringement was not, it's just wide open. So people were always, Mac Paint for that matter,
Yeah,
Banksy, Diablo. None of that would
yeah,
be really allowed as a theme suggestion these days. But it was pretty, it was fun to explore those.
yeah.
I think lo-fi is another iconic canvas for me really early on. Just that pixel lo-fi girl is so good. Oh, here's a cool early animation too. You can see
Yeah.
the cassette tape, the eyes spinning on that
Wow,
cassette tape.
really cool.
And I know, sometimes a couple of times there have been people have made like sticker packs, and so those are some of the canvases that get stuck on stickers. Another Miyazaki canvas, X copy, and here's, I think Pepe was maybe the first time I minted a brush. I may have tossed a pixel or two on Pepe, um, and that one really pops. You can see, the palette was just perfect. That's another one where the
Yeah.
the palette and the theme really just match perfectly.
Yes.
And then Pokemon was definitely my first canvas that I took some time and committed. I think I drew. There's a little
Hmm.
badge in there. I'm trying to remember if this canvas was the one where half the people had one color and half the people had another color. I don't know if you
Oh, I
remember
was
that,
not
but
aware. Was there
yeah,
an
there were some
experiment with
really
that?
cool experiments early on. We haven't done as much of that lately, but I think you were maybe randomly assigned a color palette, and half the
Mm-hmm.
people had a blue color palette and half the people had a red color palette. So it was a little bit of competition or
Yeah.
something. Uh, but yeah, this was a pretty chaotic canvas. think
Really
that
cool.
was my first in there. You can see in the middle, sort of left there, next to the little Charmander. There's a little water badge. I think I
Yeah.
made that water badge.
Huh. Cool.
And that card down there always struck me. It's a really good one. And I remember looking at that Game Boy too. I feel
Yeah.
like that was the first time I learned really about shading. You know, the difference
Mm.
between those Game Boy buttons with the shading underneath and without is like night and
Yes.
day. Um, Conspiracy, another like great iconic image, figure image, amazing to do in the smaller format. And then Daft Punk. It's so funny to have memories of all of these. I was like,
Hmm.
there are a couple of them I'll remember. All of these are like pop out in the memory. But I remember actually doing a little animation on the Daft Punk one. There's, we'll see the helmet in the lower right. I think
Hmm.
I did a little animation, and this is cool. Even with a 100 pixel brush, I just animated some text scrolling across the helmet. I think it comes up at some point here. Yeah, there we go.
Wow.
Daft
Cool.
Punk.
That's really cool, man. First month and you're doing animation.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's amazing. It's fun just to see how far you could push things.
Yeah.
Just play around. Yeah, we're still. It'll be interesting to see when the IP and names sort of drop from things. We had
Hmm.
Queen there on day 34, Warhol on day 36.
Yeah.
That's another really cool canvas. Interesting palette of pinks. Jack Butcher. This is maybe
Hmm.
one. I guess Mac Paint was maybe the first two color palette, but this is another early one. And I actually don't know how the if the palettes were randomly selected or how those were generated in the early days, especially.
Yeah, I think it was Zach and Winter at at the start, right? And then they hand it over.
Yeah,
Much.
I sort of assume there's some element of just sort of random generation in there, but this day 41 Moroccan was a really cool. I don't know how to pronounce that. Zalige
Hmm.
was a really cool. To me, I think that's one of the first geometric ones, and we've done a few of them since then. But it's really like just making a pattern, kind of. Um, so that was an interesting. I'll pop into that one. This is an interesting experiment in how to work with that kind of format, I guess, of canvas. It's fun to see that come together.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that came out really beautifully at the end. Okay, we're day 42, Hitchhiker's Guide. So we're still in the IP there. Tokyo, I always loved this canvas too. Day 49. Thought that was a great palette, and really had, again, yeah, some like cohesive elements. It was cool to see that big central characters. You can see
Yeah.
popping up here on those early canvases too. There are those like red pixels,
Mm-hmm.
which I think are pixels that were flagged in some way as spam.
Interesting.
And I don't know exactly how that worked, but okay. Final Fantasy, that may have been one of the last IP canvases. Final Fantasy.
Hmm.
Oh, Song of Day, man, this was
Yeah.
such a cool canvas. I don't know if you remember that. That was another one where I think um, Song of Day Man was sort of live. live doing music at the same time we were painting.
Cool.
Um, so he was sort of, we were painting in response to what he was singing, and vice versa. Um, that was a really cool collab. Uh, yeah, so many experiments in these early days.
Yeah, I'll have him tomorrow.
Oh, that's awesome!
Jonathan, yeah, and so good to know.
It's so cool. He was such a, he was like a, he immediately was into what we were doing.
Yeah,
It's-
man, he
it's-
onboarded June.
oh, really?
Yeah,
Ah, that's awesome.
that's a major
Okay, we still got
contribution.
Star Wars, Quentin Tarantino, and Coca
Yeah,
Cola,
Coca
so the
Cola.
IP's still going strong. And then
Elon
Vitalik and
Musk.
Musk. Yeah, here's another sort of
Party doll.
branded canvas. Yep, Party Down. I remember too. It was always interesting on those days. I know personally, I was just like, oh, we gotta paint on this day
Hmm.
because there's gonna be a ton of mints,
Yeah,
which um, I mean, it's amazing looking back at these numbers too.
yeah,
802 mints, 1.8 ETH. But yeah, so you can see there's a bump of, you know, 150, 200 mints on this Party DAO launch page. And I think some of that was the Party DAO team minting. Some of that was, just extended reach from that collab. But people, I feel like rainbows and unicorns also has some sort of iconic imagery in there.
hmm,
All those unicorn rainbow eye lasers are fantastic. Kind of a Lisa Frank vibe feel.
there you go. Huh.
It'd be fun to pull out some individual commits there, individual things as stickers would be fun. Prince, Lord of the Rings. Okay, The Matrix still strong into IP. Alice in
Yeah,
Wonderland,
Atari.
Atari, Coffee. I remember that canvas. That's a fun canvas too. Harry Potter. We've got platformers are really cool canvas. There's another. All these. I feel like uh, the monochrome or the two color canvas palettes really bring out a lot of creativity. You really got to like
Yeah,
think, wow, that's an awesome animation. I wonder who did that in the bottom left. See those
yeah,
two figures fighting? It's
yeah,
really good.
yeah. Hmm.
And there's some other animations going on too. Yeah, look at all those.
Yeah. And I don't know what it means. Do you know what it means? Platformer?
Yeah, it's like a video game style, like the 2D jumping from place to place. Yeah, some really
Okay.
incredible animation on this. Look at that central
Yeah,
space. It looks like somebody went through the trouble to clear out that central space just so they could do
yeah,
this animation. Probably a team effort to do that.
yeah.
Really cool.
Hmm.
Pizza, another great canvas. I feel like that's another one where the palette somehow really fits the the theme.
Yeah,
And it's interesting. I feel like there are a lot of these, like cherry blossoms. It's tough with those sort of pastel palettes. It just doesn't pop the same way.
yeah.
And I'm sure there are others who could talk about like what makes a good palette, in
Hmm.
a way that I can't describe, but you know when it pops. Casino, that was another fun one. Day 87. And then Cityscape Sunset. I don't know. To me, this was day 90. To me, I think for a long time, and still a little bit, this was sort of like the face of Basepaint canvas almost. Another one that we made stickers of. It's another really early cohesive canvas. We really like painted a scene
Mm-hmm.
that I think is quite beautiful, and I think did some work sort of like clearing away plop and stuff. You can see how crowded the sky gets, and did some work actually making it less crowded.
Mm-hmm.
Really, a lot of this canvas stays the same for a lot of the time, and the end result is really, yeah, really beautiful. Here's an interesting one. 93, the Tales of Reynard the Fox. What
Don't know what that is.
a really random theme, and maybe one of the first ones where we had the kind of like the big text. It
Okay.
says Reynard the Fox there. There are a few others that pop up like that, but wow, this is still such. This just feels like a really niche, um, niche topic.
Hmm.
Dinosaur laser borscht. That to me is always day 94. God, just like what a I don't know who came. Well, let's see. You can see the proposer, Telsky
Drake.
Drake. Yeah, just like what an incredible mind to come up with the words dinosaur laser borscht. And then you just get to see what do 550 pixel artists do when you say make a make a 128 by 128 canvas of dinosaur laser borscht. This is what they do. Incredible. I remember this one too. Day 95. Less than 100 pixel art only. That was a cool way to like feature people with um, smaller brushes, but also
Oh,
just
cool.
try to work with in those constraints. People with bigger brushes, helped out or just made some smaller art pieces. It ends up being a little bit of a plop fest, but I think it's still a lot of fun. That that dachshund in the middle is really good. Yeah, it seems like we're firmly past IP
Then
infringement at this
I
point.
remember that's when I learned about
Oh, for
base
nouns.
paint. Yes.
Yeah. So this was a
Very
cool leading into day 100. We had a 3-day collab with nouns, and you might know more about this. But did
yeah.
the noun happen first, and then we made the base paint based on it?
I think it was a proposal to fund 3 days of
Okay.
base paint now themed, and yeah, this 98, 99, and 100.
hmm And yeah, you can see also, you know, it's interesting to look. It would be cool to do a little statistical analysis at some point out the number of mints or number of
Yes.
contributors per day. But
Yeah.
here on day 96 or on 97, we have 163 mints. Then this noun collabs
Yeah.
pops in, and we have 900 plus
Over a
1,000
thousand.
mints. Um, and yeah, this day 100 was such a party. This is easily,
Yeah.
nobody knew what was going to happen. This easily could have been dead by this time, but it was
Yeah.
a party. God, that's such a great look. That wolf. Yeah, I also wonder. I want to look at some point about the holders of those. I remember as a collector, as like getting those, and you kind of expect you should be able to get those pretty easily because there's 1,300 of them,
Yeah.
but the people who own them are not giving them up easily.
Yeah.
easily. Exactly.
Yeah, I
And
bet a
then,
bunch of nouns people bought a bunch of them. Right?
yeah, exactly. They're probably, yeah, some of them are in dead wallets or people who are not really paying attention to base paint. I love this canvas too. I actually have I got some coaster. I'm sorry, day 103. I love this canvas. Uh, I got some coasters made at one point, and I made a coaster of this uh, day periodic table. Such a fun canvas. I remember doing yeah, some work just on, still had 100 pixel brush at this point, and just doing some work filling in those elements. I've always really been fascinated with lettering, so it's fun working out, what size of lettering can you do, and different sort of fonts you can do based on, do you
Yeah,
have five pixels high, 4 pixels high, 6 pixels high? What can you work with? This is a pretty. I felt like this is a pretty big accomplishment to actually keep that, defend that periodic table from from any kind
yeah,
of spam. And you can see
it's
a
true.
couple of times throughout, we sort of, I remember making some sort of group decision about, oh, this font doesn't really look good, or it's not super readable. Let's change all the backgrounds on all those. Uh, so that was a cool collaborative.
Yeah,
I also just love Beaker and Honeydew, the Muppets. Rose Garden. I wonder if this was one I proposed. Yeah, this was maybe one of
yeah,
my first proposals.
cool.
Rose Garden. I love proposing is just another such a cool element of base paint, and I was really trying for a while to um, propose a lot of canvases, and I had a bunch of them. Um, it's a fun practice to just like go in every day, look at the palette, and say, can I come up with something good? Oh yeah, and then 110 Greek mythology
Oh yeah.
for a long, long time was the rarest canvas. Oh, and that was Creamy proposed that. Cool.
I got
Um,
DMs to
oh,
sell
good, good,
Uncut from.
good,
Yeah,
good.
never sold.
Uh, yeah, such. I mean the. I mean I don't know. The canvas is. It's cool. There's nothing like super special about it. I think the
Yeah,
final.
exactly. Why, right? Why is it
Yeah.
so
Well, I mean
valuable?
that was an interesting thing too. As a collector, sometimes the canvases that weren't that great, that didn't really pop, they didn't get as many mints, so they
Mm,
became rarer. Um,
okay.
and so yeah, that one for a long time was really hard to get. I It might still have the record for the biggest base paint sale ever
Really?
for an individual canvas. Um, Now I remember when we dropped below that too. We'll see if we come across the time when we drop below 155 mints. But for a long, long time that stood. Sleepy time is
I
another.
see. So that's what it was. For a long time, it was the lowest number of mints.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And by quite a bit too.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything really close. It wasn't like there was a canvas with 156 and one with 157. It kind of stood alone for a long time. Sleepy Time, another awesome canvas. I love that clock. It's so good. 12. That I feel like this is a canvas that sometimes gets quoted, like that kind of clock appears in some other later canvases that pop up.
Cool.
Steampunk, really interesting palette to work with. Oh yeah, here's another like this may have actually been day 123. Uh, this might have been the first like versus canvas. Um,
Ah, the color versus thing.
yeah, so that's another like sort of category of theme that pops up throughout the throughout the years. And yeah, this is just one of the first one. I don't think it was like people had different brushes or anything thing. I don't think, at least. But it was an explicit sort of like we were drawing two sides of the canvas. Hackers, that was a cool canvas. Ooh, I remember this one too. Day 133 treasure map. That was a
Mm.
lot of fun. This is a really cool canvas. Um, Actually, you can see like we worked to make the edges of the map sort of look like a map. This would be a fun one. I can't remember actually if we've done this in the larger format, but this would be a fun one. Uh, yeah, try bringing in those map elements, that fish in the lower left corner, the
Mm.
compass rose, the hand. That's really beautiful hand for this
Yeah.
small format. Yeah, love this one. That's a great canvas. Oh, glitch art is another, again, I think, iconic canvas. Really
Mm.
like some cool collaboration and, working on people sort of drawing the art and then people intentionally sort of messing with the art to give it that glitch feel. Really cool one. I remember trying to do some work. Can't remember if I was I guess I was trying to do a little animation around the TV. I don't think it came out very well, but
Huh.
see, there's a great in the
Yeah.
left side. There's a little Pepe face. That's a cool animation. See him glitching
Huh.
out.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Steamboat Willie. I think that was the
Yeah.
day that Steamboat Willie
Yeah.
came into public domain. Maybe that
Yes.
one. Oh, camping trip. That's the canvas that I have a mug of in my hand right now. Day 150.
Huh.
That
Cool.
was a cool one. I think I proposed that canvas too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that one came out nice. That's another. I like that palette for that theme. Sketchbook. That was another cool one. That was a sort of another meta sort of. We're not just. It's not just a theme. We're like actually trying to create a sketchbook, so you can see the sort of you can see the book
Yeah.
and what may be in it. That was a fun one. Day 156, BTC ETF day.
Oh, yeah.
So it's interesting. You can see some of these, you can date them in time. News. Underworld. I thought this was a beautiful canvas too. Day 158. Um, Another two palette. Oh Lord, and day 159. Saddle up, partner, yeehaw! What a theme! And just what a scene. That's a wild one. We had this, the town on the bottom and the thing on the top. You'll see. I'll scroll through it, but the on the left there's that horse sort of billboard. That is a cool animation that pops up. I think at least, yeah. There's the horse.
On the left, right?
Yeah, yeah. I remember doing some work on the sign, the number on the town sign there. Sushi, that was fun canvas. Day 163. Oh, pinball. This is another one of my favorite. This is one I think I proposed this. This is a
Yes.
theme I was really proud to think of. I think this is one I had thought about for a while. Like, wouldn't it be cool if there was a pinball base paint theme? That'll be a
Mm.
cool canvas. I was sort of waiting for a good palette to suggest it on. And this one came up. Some cool animation. It's a cool perspective. And yeah, I
Mm.
think the final result is really cool. You can see the the score rolling up. You can see the ball bouncing around. Really fun stuff. There's another one you could totally see somebody like pulling this canvas and actually, making a little pinball game or porting it into a pinball
Yes.
game of some kind.
It's 60, right?
Yeah. Origami. This is a theme I proposed and thought would be super cool and came. It's really hard to do, really harder than we thought it might be,
Four
or than
colors.
thought it might be. Kind of a weird palette. Reptile prom. Who proposed that theme? What another? That was Chewed.
Jude.
What a great, what a great theme.
Yeah.
Love
Huh,
it.
I remember that one.
Inside the human body. That was a cool one too. This is another interesting, like the way we took that inside the human body. It has that interesting background that we stuck with. It really not like too much plop or anything there, but you can see some of the, we just pulled out some organs. That would be cool. That central X-ray. That's a really cool composition. 187 manga. That is another iconic canvas.
Yes.
Beautiful. Vegetable Battle. That's a cool one. 190. Day 193, Emerald City. So you can start to see like, uh, you can see the callback sort of to Day 90, the city's sunset or
Yes.
cityscape.
Cityscape. Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely like some influence there, some callback, some quote to that canvas.
Yeah.
I think this is another really beautiful canvas. The palette is just awesome, and the way it came out is super cool. Bullish. I wonder what was happening with the Bitcoin price on
With
that
the
day.
price.
And then we're getting up here to day 200. So we always had like a special theme on day 200 or on
Yeah.
the hundreds. So day 200 was cool. PFP class photos. It's cool. There's the mouse. There's, you can see Jude. All sorts of cool. It's a great one. Day
Are you in there?
201. What's that? No,
Are
I
you in?
never I never really PFP'd or put myself
Okay.
in there. Day 201 stained glass window. This is maybe my favorite theme that I ever proposed. I was really proud of this and really proud of the way they took it.
Yeah.
This is actually like my Twitter profile header is the Doge and Pepe
Oh.
angels. I thought this just came out incredible, and I thought at first it might just be kind of like the Moroccan pattern one, just
Mm,
like one stained glass window, which I guess
yeah.
it is, but the what people were able to do here, I was just amazed by. People really went
Yeah.
all out. This one, it is astounding.
It is. It's special.
What a cool canvas. Oh, here we. This might be one of our first ones, day 208, Dune 2, where
Yeah.
we decided to come back to a theme. It makes a little more sense now when we have a bigger canvas. You can revisit a theme and explore it in new ways.
Yeah.
This actually, it's also possible this was like the second Dune movie may have come out around then or something. But wow, it's not as good as the first one.
Mm,
It's holy smokes, is it not as good as the first one? And here we're back up on huge number of mints, almost 900, over 1,000. I wonder what happened.
It looks like it's East Denver, maybe
Oh, that could be.
something Denver, right?
Yeah. There always is or was excitement, around the hundreds too. Sort of got some more
Yes.
pump, so would always bring some more people back in. I love this one too. Day 217, the tunnel. Thought that was another really cool way that people just took a theme that not much on the surface, the
Yeah.
tunnel, and made this whole sort of narrative around it, and just like a beautiful working with that palette, which again, nothing like super special about that palette, but really made it work. Kind of looks like one of those early Windows games. Um, Beautiful art.
Hmm.
Love that. Oh yeah, then we got into a little bit of Seven Deadly Sins. I don't know if we ended up doing them all. Let's see. We start with 225, Seven Deadly Sins, Lust, and I remember there's a lot of talk in the chat. Was Jude the one who proposed this? Yeah, Jude
Yes.
proposed this one, and then he didn't really intend us to do the rest of the Seven Deadly Sins. He was just like, seven. It worked for that palette, but then we got off on it and just went through the rest of them,
That's really
which
cool.
I think it was a cool set. Those would be interesting themes to revisit too. Here's another 240, Nocturnal Cityscape. Sort of again quotes that cityscape, but I think that came out really beautifully also. Persian carpets, there's another sort of geometric pattern. Canvas. Solar eclipse. So here we go, 2024. That dates it perfectly. That was the time of the eclipse. Wow, Zion National Park. That's a really beautiful canvas also. Love that one. Wood shop. That's another theme I proposed that I don't know, that palette was not didn't look how I thought it was going to be a perfect palette. Didn't end up being that way. Murder Mystery Cafe. Remember talking a lot in chat about trying to put some different murder mystery elements in there. Seven Wonders of the World. That's another one we did a couple of those. I don't think we ever sort of got through all the seven wonders.
Oh, interesting.
And then minimalism.
Yes.
I don't know if people have talked about this canvas before, but this is
Yes.
another iconic sort of moment. I mean, it's an iconic canvas, but it's also an iconic um, process. I think it sort of came up as we were doing it. I don't think this was the plan from the beginning. We thought we'll just do some minimalist art, and you can see some minimalist art popping in there. But then this idea came up sort of closer to the end. We thought, wow, what if we could really make this sort of like a meta piece, a meta theme, and just erase the whole canvas at the end. I remember there was some discussion about what is the end canvas going to look like? Are we just going to erase the whole thing and leave it blank? Are we going to leave like a single pixel on there? What are we going to do? And you can see these couple of attempts. It was like, when are
Yes.
we going to start erasing it? Who's going to erase it? What are we going to do? So you can see it starts, then we go, not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet. But at some point here, we really do start to take things out, and I like the way we took things out too. We sort of erased the canvases individually, slowly, less and less on those canvases. This actually, I was proud of this work. I can see in the bottom on closer to the middle, but on the left, there's that little island sort of
Clouds.
landscape. It's got the
Yeah.
bird and stuff. And I
Yeah.
did a little work erasing that, with other people's help. And you can see the sun goes down
Oh
on
yeah. Oh
there.
yeah.
Sort of disappears slowly. It's really cool. And then at the end, we're just left with, I think, the last commit. We figured out um, somebody committed those last ones. It might have been Jude, but we're just
Yeah. This is
left with this
amazing.
blank canvas. Really
Quite
cool
quite
collaboration.
a
I
story.
think that was one of we discovered in that canvas what we could do collaboratively, like what our power was. So
Yeah.
that was a very sort of turning point. Really cool canvas. And then after that, it's like that ends up being a little bit the metric on which some of these other canvases are judged. You go like, oh well, came out okay, but like we didn't we didn't communicate or collaborate in the same way we did on that canvas, and
Hmm.
could we have done better? Absinthe, I think this is a super cool canvas too. Sort of creating an absinthe bottle label. That looks beautiful. Day 269. Robot Factory 281. I remember this has some cool animation in there.
Hmm.
Kind of ends up being a little bit busy, but it was a fun one. And then we get up to day 300, Basepaint Con. And you can see in this one, it's always fun to throw back. You can see the minimalism uh,
Oh yeah.
canvas in the middle there, up on the wall of the con, and you can see some familiar faces at the booths doing signings and things.
Hmm.
It's fun to throw back to some of these. You can see the nouns wolf in
Yeah.
the lower left there. Cryogenic chamber. I remember these 300s. I remember distinctly because I did some work for the day 400, I think, special drop. So I worked with a few of these canvases, pulling out little snippets and doing animations. Like on the day 304, on the left, you can see there's a little mouse in a tube in a chamber, and so I remember working with those pixels, doing a little animation on that. Day 305, I remember taking that woman and having her pull her glasses down. So these are all like burned into my mind, looking at them over and over. Monument Valley 311, that's a cool one, like an interesting format of the canvas is just different postcards and pictures.
Yeah.
On-Chain Summer, that's a really cool one. I made a postcard of this at one point. I should send some of those to you actually. Um,
Oh cool.
but that was fun to work with, and I think just a really beautiful canvas. Really cool. Old Maps, another beautiful one. 313 sort of calls back to that treasure map. Rainy City Night, I think that's a beautiful canvas also. 320. Yeah, these canvases are this is a real highlight. Wow, Alphabets of the World. That was another one I remember. Like, we were just like, what the heck are we going to do with this one? I don't know. And it came out kind of how you might expect.
Hmm.
Sybil Attack. This was an interesting one. I don't know if you've heard the story of this one, but uh,
No.
I, I, I proposed this theme, and at the time, I wasn't sure. I guess I did a test at some point, but I realized that you get one vote for every canvas you have in your wallet, and I there's some formula, so it's not like if you have 50 canvases, you don't get 50 votes, you get
Yeah.
10 votes or 5 votes or something, 3 votes. So I realized that you could move canvases to a different wallet and vote with the same canvases. So if
Mm.
I had a one canvas in one wallet, I could vote, and then I could move that canvas to a second wallet and vote again.
Oh, interesting.
So I realized it might be possible to Sybil attack the theme. So for for shits and giggles, I did more work than I realized I would have to, moving like 50 canvases. I figured out whatever the like number that made the most sense to move and give me a good number of votes. But I moved 50 canvases through like 20 different wallets and jumped the Sybil attack theme to the to the highest theme in the last hour of voting, which not
That's
everyone
pretty
was
cool.
happy about, but I thought it was a fun little thing, and it caused them to fix whatever bug allowed that to happen. So that's not something you can do anymore. But I thought this was a fun canvas.
That's an awesome story, man. I love it.
It was fun. People were like, "What the hell is going on?"
And I guess Zach and Winter appreciate your pointing out of the
Yeah, on the one hand, like on the one hand, breaking the system. On the other hand,
and
it's a
also
1 day theme.
contributing to a beautiful piece of art.
Magic show. That's another one. 342. Like just doing a lot with a little. Some of these, like uh, 338. The worms have built a machine, or even Pinata. A little bit of a plop fest. Just like a lot of random stuff. Magic show is like another world, like the quality of that painting is just really stands out. Farewell to Squiggles, that was another cool,
Yes.
marking a moment in time, and we sort of did a similar thing to the to minimalism and erased all of the canvas except for the squiggle shape at the end. Wow, I haven't looked through the animation of this in a while. It's a really beautiful
And
canvas.
and Snowfro was painting with you guys, right?
Oh, cool. I forgot that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Wow. I mean, we've been the time has flown by. We've been talking for like an hour. We're like halfway through the paintings. I mean, I can
Yeah,
speed through some more of these too. Um,
it's up to you, man.
I'll try to go through some more of them quickly. I
Okay.
guess
That's
366 must,
that's
yeah,
that's the new canvas size, right?
that's right. So that's when we moved. I guess was it 128 by 128 before? And then we
Uh,
moved to 256 by 256.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, this was just like it was a sea change, huge change in like how we were able to paint, and there are a lot of things that made that possible. I think, um, you know, giving some people some more bigger brushes, really promoting some people, giving them bigger brushes so that they could, I remember there's some question at the beginning of like, okay, it's awesome to have that new canvas, but it also means a lot more work. There's a lot more space to fill, and can we actually do it? Um, and yeah, I think there was a little bit of like learning curve, a little bit, but God, it's so wild, just what a change between. You can see these early canvases. Well, roller rink. There's another theme of mine that didn't work really well. um, but yeah, these smaller canvas formats, and then bam, what a difference. All the detail in that birds aren't real canvas, being able to
Yeah.
add a lot of like detailed text into. Wow, that was a wild one for a while. We really, I mean, I guess you can see the issue immediately here is like there's a ton of space to fill, and so it just gets filled with like a lot of plop, and
Hmm.
somebody, we really need to come in with a vision and make it happen, but that really requires somebody having a vision or us having a collective vision and then having the like pixel power to enact it.
Yep.
um, it's a little bit of a different lift than those other canvases, and there's less room for painting over. You know, it's which in some ways is great, and in other ways it's like it's not like uh, with the smaller canvas, it's sort of like the best ideas really come to the front, or you can look through. I remember looking through the previous commits on a canvas and saying, "Oh, that's great. Let's bring that back." And here it's like this
Mm,
stuff doesn't get covered up as much. So
I see. They're just racing to finish.
yeah, a little bit, especially in those early ones. Plato's Cave, another um, kind of disaster of a theme by me. I thought this will never be, they'll never vote for this. And then a bunch of people voted for it. I went, well, I got sort of one idea, which is in the bottom, but you can see in the top, it didn't really come together. But control panel, that is a super cool theme. And I loved that was a really interesting, in this bigger format, still
Yeah.
got that sort of lo-fi pixel look, but there's just so much going on. Really cool animations on this one. So cool. And then we start to get the HD canvases. We take a theme that we
Ah,
had
yeah.
before, like platformer, and we upscale it. We say, okay, what does that look like on a bigger canvas? And came out really well. Really different vibe.
Yeah, beautiful.
Stamp collection. I love this canvas also. I was really proud of. We talked earlier about that whale that whale on one of those
Yeah.
early canvases. So you can see on day 382, there's a whale stamp. That's one of my
Ah, cool.
might be one of my proudest pieces of pixel art, making that whale stamp. Bankless, day 385, we had a little collaboration with Bankless. That came out really well too, I think.
How was the number
Still
of mints?
on Bankless,
Yeah.
457, which doesn't feel like a ton, but it's double whatever.
Double, yeah.
Yeah. Silk Screen, day 390. That's a beautiful canvas too. That came out really well. And you can see again, we're quoting that Dune canvas in there and the
Yeah.
Steamboat Willie canvas. Lo-Fi Girl. The Japanese Irzumi tattoo. I remember talking a lot about that. That was one of the first canvases that
Yeah,
really
that's
had like a
impressive.
single central figure and working with all the tattoos on her body. I remember we had to do a lot of coordination around this. Really beautiful canvas. I'll just say this is another one of my proud base paint moments. This is a cool theme. I thought this came out well, but at the end, what happened there? Somebody, like some random person or something, I think, on the bottom, you can see there's that guy, and then a chicken appears, just like somebody plops that down, and it was like in the last, I don't know, hour or
Uh,
something. And we go, oh, what the hell? Somebody's gonna have to erase that thing. And I went, wait, I have a great solution. We'll just redraw the belt on top of the chicken, and now it's like this guy's just got a chicken tucked in there. I always liked that canvas. I thought that was a cool one, cool palette. Macaroni art masterpiece. What a cool canvas.
yeah,
Just
it's
like,
amazing.
stuff you never could have thought uh would exist, and bam, made it happen. Day 400, night at the Basepaint Museum. I always liked rats, 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 followed by cats, cats, cats. There was some thought with these two canvases that, um, like, the 401 canvas would actually be like sort of canonically below the 402 canvas. Like we are trying to have the top of the 401 canvas match the bottom of the 402
Oh,
canvas, so they're in the same house, but upstairs,
okay.
downstairs. It didn't quite work, but I like the thought. 404 error. This is a really cool canvas
Yes.
where I think, you know,
Uh,
Zach was like, we want to make the 404 page for base paint. So let's just make it.
yeah.
Again, we sort of ended up erasing everything and just going with the 404.
Huh. Art not fun.
This pinky blue canvas. This is another one where we've occasionally done a canvas that sort of highlights a particular artist and their style. Pinky
Yeah.
blue has a particular style. That one came out awesome, I think. These are just some really cool canvas. I love 414 blueprints. That was a cool one. This retro motion camera. That was another collab one, I think, that I thought came out really
Oh
well.
yeah.
It was fun.
Motion camera. They're gun.
What's that?
They're gun. I've never heard of motion cam again.
Yeah. Robin Hood. This is a cool, like, decided to do like a little RPG screen kind of there. That was a fun take on that canvas. Junk drawer. I think that looks awesome. 423. It came out really well. Let's take a look at that animation real quick. Just piling more and more stuff in the junk drawer. Love it.
Hmm.
It's always really interesting in these canvases to see the elements that stay and the elements that don't. Like that um, tape measure in the lower right hand corner stays through the entire canvas. Other stuff kind of gets covered up or moved around, but people are like, that's awesome. Keep that.
Hmm.
The snake. That was a cool. Let's see. Who came up with that theme? Yeah. Trumbo. And really had like a vision for this. He was like, "This is what I want the canvas to be. Do it this way," and we did it, and it came out cool. I remember this was a fun draw also. So just coming out with that template and then filling it in.
Cool animations.
Yeah, retrofuturism. I think that's a beautiful canvas too. 430. Oh yeah, and then we do so much cool stuff. Then we do this really cool story. I don't know exactly how this came about, but starting at 433, we had a 5 series theme. We knew sort of ahead of time that it was going to be a 5-day series, I think, and we came out with this story, and has a whole like storybook um, feel with the writing. It has a whole story. It's and the very particularly chosen palettes that are
Yeah.
similar, have a lot of overlap, but are not exactly the same. It's a really cool set of canvases. I'd be interested to hear the story about of those canvases from someone who knows more
The
about it.
actual story, right?
Yeah, 448 Tibetan sand mandala. That was cool. Another cool geometric pattern one. Wow, Peanut the Squirrel, day 453. That was a thing that happened for a second on Instagram. Oh, this was another one of my favorite themes. I think I proposed this one, the Spot the Difference theme.
Yeah,
Yeah. And this came out, like I had an idea and it came out the way I expected it to. And,
yeah, this
this
is
is just
great.
kind of like magazines spot the different games. And we had to really work hard to like actually, like make sure that the two scenes are the same, like pixel by pixel, like that window is whatever, 6 pixels
Yeah,
from the edge on the left, it's 6 pixels from the edge on the right. And once we sort of got that all down, we were able to make these sort of minor differences um, between the left and the right. I'm now I'm like playing along. I'm like, what are those differences? You can see it's always fun. Almost anytime we have like pictures on a wall, we can't resist quoting some base paint
yeah.
canvases. So you can see on the upper left wall above the
The
window,
snake.
yeah, there's the snake, and that on the right, like above the doll's head, there's 3 dots in a thing. That's for the minimalism painting.
Wow.
You can see that's one of the differences too. On the left hand picture, the light dot is on the left, and on the right
Ah,
hand
yeah.
picture, the light dot's on the right. Anyway, that one came out cool. I was happy with that. Charcuterie board. That one is beautiful. That came out really well. Sleepy Time. Here's another HD canvas. See that beautiful iconic
Oh,
clock
yeah.
again. Oh, Build a Chonk. Yeah, so this is an awesome Chonk collab with backsides, uh, back seats, backside.
Back seats.
Yeah, back seats. It was the creator of Chonks, also huge base paint fan and supporter. Um, and so he's done a few collabs over the years where, or over the year or whatever, of if you have a base paint canvas in your chunks backpack, it'll unlock a trait of some kind. So he's
Ah,
done that a
okay.
few times, and this was maybe one of the first ones. Blue Chinese blue and white porcelain. That's another really cool
That's beautiful.
scene. Yeah, jigsaw puzzle. That was a cool one. I really like that theme and how that all came together. It's a great chewed one.
Hmm.
Making this scene, and then at some point
Oh,
we
yeah.
puzzleize it.
How do you call that?
And I said puzzleized, which isn't really a word,
Puzzleizing.
but that's what we
Yeah,
did.
that's cool.
The ugly Christmas sweater. This is another one, and I think explicitly
Yes.
before this, Zach said, "What we're going to do is take this design and turn it into a sweater that you can buy." Um, so that was a lot of fun. I have that sweater.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
really
Drake's
hilarious.
interview is wearing that.
Yeah, oh, yeah, amazing. Oh, I love this one too. 512 Art Deco poster. Just incredible. I want to frame that and put it on my wall.
Hmm.
I love this one too. 531, a single cup of water. Amazing. I think we've had a few other themes like that, like just this one thing. here's another. We did sort of like a pinball HD
Yeah.
543. Oh, this is another, I think, just
Yeah.
incredible canvas. 551 Magic Window. It's just, like all good art, it's sort of tells a story. You can just get lost in it. Like,
Hmm.
what is going on there? Where is that place? Ship of Theseus. This was a cool theme, cool idea of like, the ship of Theseus. If you replace every part, is it still the same ship? So we
Hmm.
just had this one ship the whole time, and we just kept replacing bits, doing cool animations. I'm amazed there's actually not more plop around the outside of this, but you can see at this point we're getting, now like 127 contributors on this one. So at this point, it's really like, there's more of a core group of people. It's a little less just like random folks coming in and dropping things.
Yeah,
Um,
it's almost two
which on the
years.
one hand, you'd like to have more people contributing. On the other hand, it allows you to be more considerate. This was a cool theme too. 580, not enough mana. I can't remember whoever proposed this idea. Yeah, our milk like had this whole idea about like you can only replace certain cards with certain other cards of the same type
Hmm.
there or a different type, and there were different types of cards, and I don't know, but it came out cool. This canvas is beautiful too. 584.
Yes.
That moon, incredible. 600 Cursor Party. This was a really interesting theme too. It'd be great to talk to somebody about how they did this, but I think the idea somehow like it was sort of generatively created. Like you took the last digits of your wallet address and then I don't know, did something with them, and it told you what you should draw, either like a
Hmm.
cursor or an hourglass or a hand, in what color you should do it and in what quadrant you should do it.
Cool.
An interesting attempt at doing some sort of combining generative art with base paint. Still life painting 606.
Yeah, this
Again,
is.
that's like transcends. I mean, it's just you wouldn't
Yeah.
know that was pixel art necessarily.
Yes.
Really cool canvas.
Yeah, I
This
remember people
609.
posting like how it started, how it's going.
Yeah,
With
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
totally. Totally.
that one.
I love this 624 darkroom.
Yeah.
Came out really cool too. Great, another like the perfect palette for that theme. Oh yeah, 633 homage to Picasso. That's just beautiful. Some really sort of we're looking at kind of horror section here.
Yeah.
647 and 648. It's another nouns canvas 652.
Ah,
I don't know if that.
that was the proposal.
Oh yeah, another a nouns proposal.
That was no, that was me trying
Oh,
to
that was
get
you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that was me trying to get funding from Nouns
Ah, okay, okay.
to help us with the documentary, and
Got it.
it was a
Oh yeah, I remember
huge.
painting some of
Oh
these. Yeah.
man, it was a huge effort, and we made it. And then the waves that now control the DAO, they shut it down at the last minute.
Oh God, yeah,
That was tough.
yeah. It's so interesting. You know, a lot of these canvases just have stories
Yeah,
behind them. Actually, Four Winds. That was one I think I proposed. Also, I thought that came out really cool. 672. These two, I was less at this point. I remember being really busy during this time. So these canvases, I just have less of a I know less about. I wasn't on all of them necessarily, or I wasn't trying to like keep a streak at this point.
hmm.
Gold Museum, that's a cool one. Oh yeah, this was a really interesting one too. Day 751,
Yes.
W Place Takeover. This was wow, what a it'd be interesting to talk with Jude about this because this was kind of his idea. But W Place is another kind of pixel worldwide pixel project, and I don't know if I can describe it really well, but it's like
Yeah,
you have
I
a
followed I followed the story.
yeah, yeah. Um, but anyway, we're trying to basically recreate whatever was on the base paint canvas on this other world canvas and fighting against the people there who there's just
Yeah.
constant spam. And that was a cool, like, we had it up for a while. We did work on that. It was fun. And it's fun to see in this canvas all the other quotes from other canvases too. So base paint brush
Yes.
canvas, the clock, the minimalism, the completer. That was a fun canvas. Tiffany lamp. That's a beautiful one. Interdimensional control room. Yeah, some of these are just really cool stuff. Bus seat patterns. God, just what another
Yeah.
great theme idea. Yeah, this is one of Creamy's. You know, perfect. Those bus seat patterns are so iconic, and we nailed it. Nice photorealistic portrait, 783, Jude and his partner.
That's his wedding
At his
invitation, right?
wedding, so cool. I wonder if he's done anything with that portrait. I always like this one too. The day 794, the mech dot text, coming up with a cool uh, base paint take on that format. Oh, I thought this was a great one too. Day 826, Alien Pokeball. Oh, that came out
Hmm.
really cool. Surfing, and then yeah, like canvases like this, like 830. I can't recall the conversation around those, but surfing could be it's wide open, but
Yeah,
somehow we decided to go with this kind of vibe for it,
yeah,
which came out so cool. I think.
iconic for sure.
Yeah. Okay, and then these are feeling very recent. We're coming up to now.
Yeah,
I thought this one is really cool too. The ABCs of base paint I thought came out great. it sort of came. There was picture book, and then coming out of that had ABCs of base paint, and I want to take this 855 and turn it into a usable font.
Oh yeah, good idea.
Lo-Fi City 866.
Yeah,
Again, you can see that like quote from
yeah.
day 90 all the way back. Wow, 884. Another. Yeah, all those double, just the monochrome palettes always come out interesting. Again, you can see that minimalism
Yeah.
quote in the upper right there. Really cool. Watermelon Land. I think that's another that palette that makes it pop. 890. And then speeding past 900. Just I was amazed by this one. 906 the other day. I didn't look, and then I checked in. I was like, wow, that's stunning. Just stunning. And here we are, up to current, in progress.
Yes. Yes.
Joining in on painting. Wow. Anyway, holy smokes, we've been talking for an hour and a half. Um,
Amazing.
but God, just some
Thank you so
amazing
much, man.
stuff in there. It was so fun. Thanks